Okay, Everett. We're at El Camino High School. We're at the North County Wrestling Camp. This is the first ever camp, dude. Kind of talk about like how this camp was put together, maybe what was going on behind the scenes. You have a lot of CSUB guys that, I mean, everyone that's a counselor here is a CSUB guy. What was kind of the thought process in doing that, and how was this all kind of put together?
Yeah, so I hate to say it, but it's kind of a little last minute. It's about a month and a half. It was about how much time I had before the camp. The head coach here came to me and said, "Hey, we had just had breakfast. We had got a hard Saturday workout in with the team, and then as coaches went and had breakfast together. At the end of breakfast, I'm about to go home. He stops me before I get in my car, and he's like, "Hey, let's do a camp in 2 weeks or like 3 weeks or something." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "All right, and I'm putting you in charge of putting it together." I'm just like, "What?" He's like, "All right, it's on you." He's like, "I'll cover all the mats and insurance stuff. You just need to do the rest of that." I'm just like, "Okay, I guess." I've never put together a camp in my life.
Yeah.
I've been to camps as a kid, and I've also worked camps, as a counselor. So I have a feel for what it should look like. And so I immediately thought to myself, all right, who do I want here at my camp if I was to run a camp? And I was like, my friends who I trust dearly. And so the very first person, to be honest, that I wanted was a guy named Brian Batisto.
Okay.
So
We don't need to do
Oh.
any ego stroking, anything like that.
But Brian was the first person I did reach out to. And so I kind of was trying to be strategic too. I wanted my friends and my teammates from Cal State. And, I trust all of them, know what they're doing wrestling wise. But I still wanted to be strategic. I picked Brian because I knew he had a coaching background, teaching background. And so just because you're a good wrestler doesn't mean you're going to be a good coach. And so I knew he already had the background. So he's already used to that type of environment and setting where you're teaching kids. I'm really new to coaching, so I'm learning that stuff still. I can do the wrestling part obviously, but the coaching part, it's different. And so Brian was a pick. And then I thought Russell Rolfing, another guy. He had some pretty good accolades as well. He came from a pretty prestigious, a little bit better program as far as kids clubs. So he's around good coaches. He's around that atmosphere, and he was also coaching with Mark Munoz. So I knew he had coaching experience as well. So I picked him. We got some younger guys like Chance and Angelo here.
Yeah.
And I wanted some guys that were currently on the team so the kids could get a feel too for that, So you have some guys like me and Brian and Russell who've been through it and are done with it. And so that's one side of it. But then there's also another side, the guys that are still currently going through it. And I thought that'd be really cool for the kids to experience that. They're talking to two very high level, very talented guys who are currently going through that position right now. And then they have a few guys, like I said, who have gone through it and are on the other side. And so I just wanted that kind of atmosphere. With Pollock, things fell through a little bit. I had my boy Sergio I wanted. Freaking amazing leg riding defense. I really wanted him to show his leg defense. I honestly think he's one of the top guys in the country as far as leg defense, easily. But he couldn't make it. And so Sean, who knows what he's doing, also coaching, teaching, he has that experience. I didn't even know he was going to be in town, just happened to be in town, and it worked out perfectly. Brian reached out to him, was able to easily pick up that slot, so it's good. But that was kind of the behind the scenes, what was going through it. Like I said, it's my first time ever doing this, and so I was really trying to just make sure everything ran smoothly. I had the best guys here to do it. Now we're on the final day, I can say safely that I've made the right decision, the right choices, as far as who I have here, and so I'm pretty happy about that. I feel really confident.
Yeah, it's day 3 of the camp, so you're saying that things have run pretty smooth. This is kind of the direction where you kind of wanted your camp to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some hiccups for sure, a little bit, but as a whole, I would say things for the most part have gone pretty smooth. Nothing's ever going to be 100% perfect. You got to be able to adapt to situations. Things happen, you got to be able to adjust, on the fly. Yeah. And so we've done that. But I would say all in all, especially for being the very first one, me having zero experience putting something like this together, I think it's going well. Honestly.
Yeah. So this is a commuter camp. You have a lot of kids from different parts of San Diego. So I feel like normally with the commuter camp, especially if it's technique, you show your technique, and then, obviously you guys are feeding them, you're feeding the kids. It's good to feed your wrestlers. But there's kind of a little bit more than that. So Coach Delphin was saying that you're kind of the party police. So what about maybe this camp when there's some downtime? Like, what's special about this camp? There's some things that are going on, make it kind of fun.
Yeah. And so that's the funny thing too. Delphin, he's a serious guy on our team, and I'm supposed to be the fun guy on the team, which he jokes around about me not really being that much fun on the team. I'm kind of serious around the kids. I'm not super serious. Like, he's a little bit more serious than I am, but I'm not like as loose as he thought I would be. I think it's because I'm loose around my friends, but there's a relationship you want to have with your kids. You know, you can't be buddy. But here, I'm being a little bit more fun and a little bit more loose. And so the cool thing we have is we have like a little break room, and it's pretty cool. We have SuperMashBros in there. We got the TV, we got the controllers, we have a ping pong table, we got spike ball. So the kids, during the downtime, they can play all these games. You know, they can hang out. It's just a fun environment. You know, it's kind of like being at a summer camp. I don't know if I remember going to summer camp when I was little. And, you know, there's the games and stuff, and there's like where you're relaxing and you're chilling. So we're doing wrestling, we're doing the hard work, you know. But at the same time, it is summer.
Yeah.
These kids are young, you know, you got to have fun. And wrestling is fun, of course, but it can't just be only wrestling. You got to do some other stuff and have fun. And, like, they're still young, they're still kids. And so I think it's cool that they can play video games, they can play ping pong, spike ball, and as counselors join in too. You know, I like to talk trash on Smash Bros. And
who's your favorite character on Smash Bros. And why?
All right, so it's a toss-up between Lucas and Pitt. If we're playing the newest Smash Bros., I would say Lucas. He has a lot of mobility. He's a light character, so you can get launched pretty easy, which is dangerous. But his down B, he can regain health, and a lot of people don't know that. So I'll sneak it in there when they're not paying attention. His PK Thunder is super. You can use it and it can move. I can control it, and so I can, like, someone's way over there trying to dodge it, I can chase them down and hit it. I can hit myself with it, and like, oh man, he has a lot of pretty cool moves. Pitt has a lot of great moves. In Brawl, he was OP. His recovery was legit.
Yeah.
He could literally fly. They nerfed him for this game, which I'm a little bit bummed about, but he still is pretty good. He also has a pretty good down B that reflects moves. A lot of people don't know that, so I sneak it in there. It's kind of like the way I wrestle. There's things that I just sneak in there. You know, people aren't expecting it. I sneak it in there. I play Smash Bros. The same way. I do things you're not going to expect. I sneak it in there. I'm a sneaky guy.
All right.
When it comes to video games wrestling. Outside of that, I'm not sneaky at all.
Zero sneak. So for the last session, what we have planned is that a counselor's going to tell a joke and show technique, like a fun technique, right?
Yeah.
Who in your mind probably tells the best jokes?
Ooh, that's tough.
And you can exclude me because I think we know the obvious answer. So other than me, who do you have maybe on telling the best jokes?
I'm gonna say probably Pollock. I would say Sean probably. Russell's a close second. I think Russell would probably have a good joke, to be honest. But I'm gonna say Sean. Russell's a fun guy too. Don't get me wrong. Everyone here is a fun guy. You know, but Sean has a very fun, goofy vibe to him, and I think that it's gonna probably be Sean. My joke that I have is trash. I got it from a joke book when I was 4 years old, and I remembered. It's the only joke I remember. It was a Garfield joke book that my dad got me in New Mexico. We went to New Mexico to watch the Final Four. North Carolina, Tar Heels. I grew up in a diehard Tar Heels house. But anyways, I just remember being in New Mexico, Final Four.
Yeah. And
my dad bought me a joke book. It was Garfield. I loved Garfield. And there's one joke from that book that I remember. I'm 26 years old. And anytime anyone ever asks me a joke, I always use it. That's always my go-to joke. Always. It has been.
Well, it has to be a good joke if it's something that you've remembered for so long.
Yeah, I've remembered it for that long. And so, I don't think it's that funny, to be honest. It's clever. It is clever, but I really don't think it's that funny. We'll let the kids decide how funny it is. You know, they'll be the ultimate judge. But shout out to that Garfield joke book. It stuck with me for over 20 years, that one joke. So. All
right, Pratt. That's pretty much it, man. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I want to say thank you very much, Brian, for having me on here. You know, you're doing a great job. I want to say thank you to the wrestling community. I would not be the man that I am today without it, or without the community. And I want to say, have fun, keep working hard.
All right. Thanks, Pratt.
Peace.